Good afternoon. Is it afternoon? Yes, it is. I can do that.
It is.
4, 3.
Sorry.
Oh, hi everyone. Sorry, no fireworks, but this was our new attempt to make sure that everyone was ready and all set to participate in this event. So just by the comments and the giggles and things that were going on, I'd say it was a good tool. But anyway, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our virtual event, acknowledging and celebrating the strong community partnership between the United Way, Halton and Hamilton, and Milton Community Resource Center. I'm Rebecca Barrows-Brancoul. I'm Executive Director of Milton Community Resource Center, and I'm excited to see how many people have joined us today to help us celebrate, and we look forward to outlining just how important this productive relationship is and will be and always has been a strong part of our organization. I would like, however, to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous people of all the lands that we are on today. While we meet today on a virtual platform, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the land which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous people and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territories of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations peoples that call this nation home. Please join me in reflecting and acknowledging the harms and mistakes of the past, and to consider how we can each, in our own way, try to move forward in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Thank you. United Way, Halton, and Hamilton provides incredible support to our organization in many ways, and we are truly thankful to all the staff and volunteers that we have come to know throughout the years. We rely on the expertise of our local United Way staff and will often consult many of you in areas that aren't necessarily funded, but we know that we can ask for your help and advice and guidance, and you're just a phone call away. For example, Alicia has helped me with our Artists and Children Together program in helping me connect with very important partners for that program. And very recently, Vivian assisted one of our senior managers of the Halton Resource Connection in setting up a PPE distribution model for the childcare community. Neither of those programs are funded through United Way, but we count on your expertise, and you've been extremely helpful. There are many examples like these two, but these are the ones that come to mind for me. We never hesitate to call you, and you never hesitate to help. We look forward to your networking, fundraising challenges, professional learning opportunities, and events held by the United Way, Halton, and Hamilton. In fact, I believe that the last public event most of us attended was on March 4th, before the pandemic shut us all down, and it was for the Women's Celebration, International Women's Celebration, which, by the way, was a great event, and especially a great event for commemorating how we all felt safe in so many different ways. And speaking of pandemic, this year has been a challenge for all of us, for each of our organizations, for all of our staff, and especially for the individuals, families, and children that we serve. And we are very grateful for the flexibility provided by the United Way and for the creative ways of networking and the additional funding that we have received through targeted grants during this very difficult time. We have been able to keep our safety net strong for some of the most vulnerable people in our community, and that would not have been possible without your help, your expertise, your knowledge, and your unwavering support of our organization. Systemic thinking, planning, and collaborating is what we do at MCRC. And it is United Way of Halton and Hamilton that helps us stay on track and challenges us to go even farther in these efforts. We hope this virtual event helps demonstrate how appreciative we are of the strong partnership we have between MCRC and the United Way, Halton and Hamilton. So welcome everyone and help us celebrate and acknowledge. At this point, I'd like to send it over to Councillor Mike Cluett to say a few words and bring greetings from the town of Milton. Mike?
Thank you very much, Rebecca, and welcome everybody to the celebration. Again, we're doing everything a little bit differently this year, as we've known since the middle of March, and I'm so happy that you brought up the Women's Day event at the beginning part of March, because I was there as well, and when you look back as to how close we all were in that packed room, and how that doesn't seem possible anymore. We're going to get through this, as we all know about this pandemic and everything else, and we're going to have some challenges going forward. But as a community, I am truly confident that we're going to get through that, as we always do. I want to bring greetings on behalf of the town of Milton and Halton region. As everybody knows, I sit on Halton Region Councilor as a representative for the town of Milton now. And through that process, I've also had the opportunity, the privilege and the honor of being a board member for MCRC since 2010, and now approaching my 10th year as a board member, which it seems to have gone by so quickly. But again, MCRC is one of those great organizations that we work so well with here at the town and at Halton region. The best way to describe MCRC is a true leader in childcare innovation, as to new tactics and new ways of teaching children and bringing them together and starting that learning process. And we're so thankful for the United Way. And as those of you also know, I'm also a member of the campaign cabinet for the last number of years for the United Way of Halton and Hamilton. So we're very proud to wear these two hats, representing these two great organizations. And again, greetings on behalf of the Milton Town Council, Halton Regional Council as well, who are also two very strong United Way supporters in the campaign as we continue to grow. And the commitment that we have with MCRC for both levels of government is fantastic. We look forward to continuing that relationship with MCRC and with the United Way of Halton and Hamilton. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending, and let's get the game going.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. And no better person than you being involved in both of our organizations and knowing them as you do, to be able to speak to our partnership and the benefit of that. Next, I'd like to introduce Tina Bulacek, who is our Manager of Early Years, Child and Family Services. And Tina is very instrumental in the partnership that we have with United Way. Tina has a very large portfolio, and many of you likely know her because under her portfolio is our infant food bank. And while the infant food bank has been going for very many years, Tina has really, Tina and her team have done a tremendous job to put the infant food bank on the map and to really help people understand how valuable it is and that it's here and that it's a unique service that really isn't, there isn't another one like it in the province. And Tina, with your help from United Way, has been instrumental in making sure that we are all doing what we should do. We are all contributing, and we are all helping to meet the needs in our community and beyond. So I'd like to pass it over to Tina, who can outline some of the very specific relationships we have and how beneficial they have been. Tina?
Great. Thanks, Rebecca. I am here live at MCRC at our 410 location here in rainy Milton. I wanted to say sunny, but it's a rainy Milton day. It's kind of fun to be here at work. I know many of us have been at home in front of our computers. So you'll see this used to be actually where I'm standing, a boardroom, a busy boardroom, lots of meetings going on. But now it's been a holding room for tons and tons of inventory for the infant food bank, our diapers, wipes, formula, and so on and so forth. So we're lucky that we have this space during this time. Now, when the pandemic hit, actually, we had to make a lot of changes to our services for families very quickly. And happy to say we didn't skip a beat because families needed us more than ever. So what we did was we adapted our service. Instead of families coming into the building to meet with our infant food bank facilitator, she coordinated appointments for the families, and then we facilitated curbside pickup. And this way, it's safe for everyone. And I'm happy to say also, United Way didn't skip a beat either. During this time, they responded with a large donation that they coordinated for the infant food bank. And during these uncertain times, it was such a great, helpful surprise. So that was amazing. Now, as Rebecca mentioned, in Milton, the infant food bank's been around since 2007. United Way has always been a key partner, whether it was for funding, support, or spreading awareness for us. They've always been there, and the dedicated folks at United Way, we could always count on them. And so in Milton, as maybe a lot of you know, or Miltonians know, Milton has grown over the years, and population has grown. And so the number of families we have to support grows. But the United Way grew in their support for us as well. So this, all happened together in unison to support the infant food bank families. So I just want to give you a little demonstration of what that kind of looks like for people, because you don't always realize the amount that it takes for families to be supported. And on this table here, I hope you can see, this one table that's full is what is required for one family once a month. So you see there's 2 big boxes of diapers, 2 things of formula, lots of baby food, wipes and it's been a while since I had a baby. All these things, all these things that babies require. Anyways, you know my point. But it's a lot of stuff. And if you think about September alone, we had 88 families come to the infant food bank with 110 babies. So just picture this table 88 times, and so the amount of need, like where we have to keep up with donations and looking for donations, and the support we get from the United Way has been amazing. So, well, specifically speaking about people that support us with IFB, we've had key relationships that have been invaluable. And I want to recognize a couple of people in my little, so we have Robin, who's been amazing campaign support for us. Kayla at United Way with her coordinating impact talks for us, donations from other organizations and companies, invitations to events, and much, much more. But I also want to recognize one of our staff as well. So I want to recognize Natalie Gallo, who's MCRC's Donor Relations and Community Partnership Coordinator, who's also been key in fostering this relationship and really helped to take it a long way with the United Way folks. So the celebration, one thing, I want to put things sort of in perspective for you as well when it comes to support with a little bit of a visual. So I have a visual, it's a partnership fact sheet that we put together just to kind of show what this has looked like in the last couple of years. So we've had over $3,000 in United Way grants to support MCRC programs. We've had about $10,000 worth of diapers, wipes, personal hygiene products donated to the Infant Food Bank through connections of the United Way. We've had over 200 children's books donated for the Infant Food Bank families. We've had more than 30 volunteers who come in and have supported the Infant Food Bank in various ways. There's been 20 or more different online and in-person training opportunities that we've been able to attend and take advantage of. And there's been about 15 speaking opportunities coordinated for for Natalie to go to and to talk more about United Way and our Infant Food Bank partnership. So that has been amazing. So the celebration doesn't stop there. There's many other people at the United Way that have worked with us in many different ways. So of course I have more boxes for those people. So we have, yeah. Yes, there's more. There's Alicia with funding opportunities and reporting support. Lindsay with her agency newsletter, donoring and donor engagement opportunities. Kirsten with project coordination, donations, and volunteer opportunities. And Vivian, with the not-for-profit support group, the Connect Ed opportunities, and as Rebecca mentioned, most recently, the support and resources that was provided for us around the PPE procurement. And that's been an amazing help. Now, where are we? Number 7. Last but not least, number 7. Janet, who has been a support to us with our United Way employee campaigns and engagement as well. So just take a moment to appreciate the people.
Yay!
It's so funny without an audience in front of you, just saying.
I know.
Anyways, so one thing I did want to give a little example about, speaking of engagement, in 2019, we had a group of staff, friends, and family who participated in the United Way plane pull. And as you can see in this picture, the plane is really heavy. Just surprisingly, FYI, if you do this. But when we all work together, our strength moves planes. I'll just let you ponder on the metaphor there. So another exciting piece in 2020, we unveiled a new initiative at MCRC, our empowerment programs. So these are free, accessible programs and services designed to meet the unique needs of girls and women in our community. So through our partnership with United Way, we've been able to build on this program and really expand our reach. But I'm not going to get into too much detail about that. We have a really awesome video from the launch of the empowerment programs, and also Kira is going to tell you more about She Can. But I would like to end by saying, and I'm sure all my MCRC colleagues agree, how much we appreciate and celebrate the folks at the United Way, how supportive they've been, and you guys are committed and passionate and dedicated to your communities, and we really value you. So thank you very much.
MCRC's new focus area, empowerment programs, are designed to meet the unique needs and priorities of our community. Empowerment programs are programs and services to support girls and women who are at risk or need support. These programs are the Infant Food Bank, the Period Poverty Initiative, and She Can Girls programs. She Can programs help girls with the challenges we face every day. And by having programs in a school, during school, and for free, more girls can be a part of it. So this year, MCRC's 2020 fundraising campaign will focus on empowerment programs. We can make a difference for her today.
Thank you, Tina. You certainly have the best way of engaging people, even virtually. We count on Tina for innovative ways to make her presentation, and she certainly did that in spades this time. But I think what's important, Tina, that you would have missed on the chat is that this is Janet's last day. She's retiring.
Oh, wow.
So timely. So happy we were able to mention her, and certainly from me and MCRC, all the best to Janet, and lucky you. Have fun. Exciting. Anyway, we wish you the best in your new journey. Next, we have, as Tina has mentioned, Kira McDermott, who is going to speak to us specifically to the She Can and She Can Thrive programs. Kira is the supervisor of the She Can programs under our empowerment programs in MCRC. And Kira has been with us for, I think, a little over a year now, and came to us with a wealth of experience in resource development, girl empowerment programs, community development. She's an amazing, experienced and skillful person that has truly helped us build and develop our girl empowerment programs. Many of you know her, and we feel incredibly fortunate to have her join us and help us develop this program. And one of the key things is that Kira had experience working with United Way, Halton and Hamilton, had the connections, had the understanding around funding pieces. So it really helped us with a smooth transition in developing this program. So we're excited to have Kira outline what we've been doing and what the exciting new piece around the She Can Thrive program. So over to you, Kira.
Thanks, Rebecca. Alicia and the United Way have been instrumental in helping MCRC meet the unique need of girls' empowerment programs in our community since September of 2019. The United Way saw the value that programs designed for girls had in Halton region and offered a smooth transition of support for MCRC in meeting this identified need. In January of 2020, we launched She Can programs at 10 schools and licensed childcare programs in Milton. Our programs included She Can Lead, which focuses on communication, team building, and leadership skills. She Can Be Media Savvy, which teaches girls critical thinking, online safety, and explores self-esteem and beauty standards. She Can Be Strong, which emphasizes physical activity, healthy eating, mindfulness, and boundary setting. And She Can Choose, which focuses on communication, stress, and peer pressure. When the COVID-19 pandemic caused schools to shut down, the United Way allowed us flexibility to find a new way to reach girls. We launched a She Can Instagram page designed to directly reach girls in Milton, Halton, and beyond, and a parent Facebook page with 150 people engaging across these two sites. There we offer activities, inspiration, and virtual support with content from our impactful programs. The newest addition to our roster of programs is She Can Thrive, a program designed in response to the social and emotional challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Through the Emergency Community Support Fund, we were able to research and create a program that equips girls with skills to be more mindful, think critically when consuming media, and offers opportunities for self-expression and social connection. This program launched on October 12th with 38 girls participating. I'd like to thank Alicia, the United Way, and the Government of Canada for their part in supporting girls in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Kira. It's so exciting to see and to hear about the kind of enrollment we're having, and certainly the She Can Thrive is a program that we've been able to launch based on the Emergency Community Support Grant. Which of course United Way, Halton and Hamilton was very instrumental in identifying MCRC as a recipient of that grant. And it's exciting to see that already at the start of it, we have 38 girls, and look forward to hearing more about how it goes and how instrumental it is for them in dealing with some of the pressures felt during pandemic. So thank you, Kira. And again, thanks to the United Way. Next person that I'm going to pass it over to is Brenda Hadju, who, for the United Way folks, doesn't need an introduction, but we have a number of staff and board directors on with us today. And Brenda is the VP of Marketing and Communications for the United Way, Halton and Hamilton. So Brenda, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you so much. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share this time with my fellow colleague who is also attending today, Michael Mikulak, who is our Vice President of Community Impact. So I'll get started and I think he'll close it out if that's all right. So for several years, the Milton Community Resource Center has been helping families and children and households to thrive and to be their best. And we all know that Milton has seen unprecedented growth and great evolution over the past several years and decades. And we know with that, not everyone is thriving. Not everyone has access to all the opportunities to be their best. And we know that once this global health pandemic struck, that crisis is going to be and is exemplified and accelerated. And we don't know what the future holds, but we know that the crisis will continue for months and years. That the impact of the crisis will continue for months and years. When it comes to partnerships and collaborations, you know, your organization excels in this area. You engage in exploring opportunities. You engage in exploring different approaches to innovation and citizenship and engagement within the community. And, you know, you're also capturing different types of value that you offer to the community, which is greatly appreciated, and meaningful high impact programs as well. So, you know, the role in addressing the immediate need is really important, and it's very evident. And it's a long-term need that is also being addressed. And we know this based on research. We know that when children and households and youth in particular receive support, and they're vulnerable or at-risk youth and children, we know that it significantly increases their ability to graduate from high school. And this is one of the key impacts and outcomes when it comes to high school graduation rates. And high school graduation rates are an indicator of and methodology of how to break the cycle of intergenerational poverty. And so by supporting families and households and youth and children, we're really, you know, leading the way to the future. And when children experience barriers in their youth and early years, quite often they experience barriers as an adult. And in those adult years, we know that will have an impact on the healthcare system. We know that it could have an impact on the judicial system. And we know it can have an impact on generations and government supports. So fast forward to today. And since COVID-19, you know, we're seeing a little bit of a shift in community needs. 45% of Ontarians are reporting increases in mental illness. We know that almost 60% of parents have reported changes in children behavior. And we know the unemployment rate is high. And we also know that distress centers have increased significantly. But what hasn't changed among all of this is that the team at the MCRC has remained strong. You've remained an anchor. You've been able to pivot. And this is such an inspiration to us at the United Way, as well as the community as a whole. You know, you've been steadfast. And this is no easy feat. We know that behind the scenes, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of commitment, a lot of hours. And you were unrelenting and uncompromising, regardless of what the challenges, these new challenges that we're all facing together. So before I pass it over to Mike, I just wanted to say on behalf of Brad Park, our president and CEO, on behalf of everyone on the team, you know, Alicia and Lindsay and Vivian and Kirsten and Kayla, and the list goes on, we just want to thank you. And we want to congratulate you for the strength that you've demonstrated. It is, like I said, such an inspiration, and your determination is something that can be admired by all. So I'm going to pass it over to Michael. I'm going to mute.
Hi, thank you. I really just want to sort of echo some of what Brenda has said. You know, I think all of us were really sort of, I think, surprised when COVID hit, and it revealed some real structural issues, you know, across the board, and in particular around, you know, I think how we support the nonprofit sector. I think a lot of people have realized just how valuable the work that we do is in this sector. And it, you know, as Brenda said, I think your ability to pivot is truly inspirational in this time. And this goes well beyond what you were doing during this crisis. You know, I think back to the way you guys picked up the She Can program and really internalized it very quickly when that became, you know, evident that it was a need. And I think that sort of flexibility and that ability for your organization to take a leadership role in that way in the community and to really sort of focus in on the clients and what they need, to think about how, you know, how you can support them, and to think about how you can support them from that full spectrum of their life, and the full spectrum of their needs, whether that's sort of essential services or really sort of supporting them to help them thrive as they move forward. I think, again, this is sort of really inspirational and really the direction that, as an organization that we want to be supporting more programs like this. So we're extremely pleased that the government of Canada has allowed us to provide these additional investments at this time. All these sort of emergency community relief funds. I want to sort of give a shout out to Adam van Koeverden's office for this. We couldn't have done that without the support of the federal government. And we are really pleased to be able to then put in those resources into programs like this. I know it's, the amount that we put in was probably not enough, but, I think it's obviously supporting some of the most vulnerable in our community. And that is important. I think that's what's keeping all of us going with the long hours and with all the sort of, pivots that we've had to make. So just want to say thank you. We really appreciate all the work that you're doing, and let's hope for a speedy recovery so that we can sort of move on with this.
Thank you, Mike and Brenda. It's great to see both of you and put faces to names, but your words are really important to us, and I appreciate them. We all appreciate them, but truly, we believe we couldn't do this without you, and the funding is incredibly helpful. Mike, to your point, we could always use more. I think everyone always could, but it's been the infusion that we needed, and it's always given us the kickstart and the elevation, but more than that is your belief in our organization and your support and your commitment, and it goes well beyond the funding. When we were reflecting of putting this event on, all of us were figuring out ways in which we could really explain and acknowledge how, your support, being able to call you, being able to run ideas around you, being able to say, does this work? Do you think that'll work? Does this fit? Does this not fit? Tell us where to move on this direction, has been instrumental. And we just hope that we're able to let you know that we appreciate your comments, but we really couldn't do it without you and your staff and United Way. So thank you so much for that. I don't have my full screen up, so I'm hoping that my next person up is on the line, and that's Adam. I know that Adam had Van Koeverden, MP Adam van Koeverden had wanted to be on and was hosting this with us, and felt that this was very important from his perspective as well, and wanted to be able to celebrate in this acknowledgement. But I think that something came up, and so he was late to get on. And I'm looking out there, I'm on speaker view, so I don't see any facial suggestions that he's on, but I'm going to hand it over to Adam and hope that he appears for me. Adam, are you there?
Hi. This isn't Adam. This is his staff, Haspa. Adam's still just on his other call. We're a little bit double booked today. Some other funding announcements to be done, but he'll be on roughly in about 5 minutes. But he's more than happy.
And you better talk for 5 minutes.
Speak with everybody, and as sure, I can do my best. No, but I think it was a good, maybe 2 or 3 months ago that we had Minister Hassan come and visit MCRC and show our support as you guys received the Community Emergency Support Fund. And it's really amazing to see, all the hard work that Rebecca, yourself, and all the staff at MCRC are doing. And you guys have been around for such a long time. I remember when I was in school, I'm 22 right now, but I used to use MCRC when my parents were working and they couldn't pick me up from school. And it was such a valuable resource. And I honestly don't know what my parents would be doing if we didn't have that. And I know some of the other students as well really benefited from that program. I've only been able to filibuster for a minute, but he'll be available in maybe 4 minutes. So sorry for the slight delay.
So Hafsa was mentioning that we had Minister Hussein and Adam come in. I believe that the minister was wanting to acknowledge MCRC as one of the recipients of the emergency support grant, which again, United Way, Halton and Hamilton was instrumental in making sure it ended up that MCRC were the recipients. And we were able to, it was an interesting time and very reflective of this time of pandemic because, you know, we were given notice that Minister Hussein was in town, was wanting to come to MCRC to make an announcement. I believe he was making the announcement around the Safe Restart funding, federal Safe Restart funding, which has been an incredible infusion for childcare. And we had a few minutes to do this. And back in the world of, I don't know, it seems so far away, when we weren't dealing with pandemic, we would have been able to get everything together. Oh my goodness, we've got the minister, federal minister coming to town, bring out the dogs and ponies, and you know, let's take them here, take them there, bring this person in, bring that person in. But again, in a pandemic situation, we had a couple hours notice that we heard that they were coming, and did our best at providing an opportunity for the minister and for Adam to see what we do at MCRC, see how we've been able to pivot, particularly with our infant food bank. So we weren't able to go into our main location. And if any of you have been there, and I'm sure most of you have, it's a very busy building. It's our main Bronte Street School location, and we normally have lots going on in that building. That's where our large child care center is, our early on programs, our Halton Resource Connection, our Family Fund programs, our infant food bank, you know, and so many more of the programs that are happening in that building, but we couldn't go in because that is our child care center. And now with pandemic, and at that time we were just in the reopening, and we were very slowly bringing children back in. Even the parents don't come into the center. So for any of you that don't have children in childcare, you drop them off outside. We have extra staff who greet and screen and take children to their rooms. The world is quite different. So when the minister was here last, we did our best to take a tour and kind of point, you know, of what happens, but we were able to take them to the room that Tina was doing her Vanna White in, and I think they were able to see, and they certainly heard about the support from the United Way, the way in which we need to collect donations and support for the infant food bank to make it actually happen. Tina and her staff, actually it was Laura, who's the infant food bank coordinator, was able to talk about our Fill a Crib campaign that we put on every year, and how in the pandemic, this time of COVID, the donations and the support has been incredible, and that we've been able to meet the needs of everyone that has been calling up for appointments for the infant food bank. And that's tough for us at many times, because Tina showed you the table, and those are the needs for somebody in a month. But if we don't have enough donations, we can't possibly give someone who walks in all that they need. But with the help, particularly of the United Way and through other donors, we're able to say, what do you need for the whole month? Here you go. And we have volunteers actually who have knitted stuffed animals that we can also throw in for infants. We've got someone who is sewing and making infant bibs. We have others who have given us things that we can add as special little pieces to help people during this time. We've seen families we've never seen before. You know, it's been a tough time for people, and we've been able to manage it. And for any of you that know Milton, and I know that Adam and I were speaking about this in their visits, we have families with twins and triplets in our community. I don't know what it is, if it, Mike, I don't know if it's the water or what it is, but we do. And so we actually, because there's so many in the Milton community, we actually see some families coming to the infant food bank with twins and triplets. So you can imagine what that's like for them on their monthly need. So we were able to have the tour. We were able to explain how important our community partnerships are, and be able to talk about the work we've done. And we were very proud to be able to do that with MP Van Koeverden and Minister Hussein. And we're very proud to be able to do that with you today. And that's a lot of talking for me to fill in some of the blanks. And I'm wondering if Adam is on. And if not, then I think we're just going to have to move on and wish that he had been here as was originally planned. As I said, he was key in being part of this celebration, and the way in which politics go, I guess sometimes that doesn't always work as you had hoped. So Hafsa, I still see you. I don't see Adam.
Sorry, it's not Adam right now. I'm sorry to be so disappointed, but no, he'll be ready in honestly just a minute or two. Okay. If you just bear with me one moment, I'm just gonna give him a call.
So I'm wondering, Tiffany, if I can send it over to you, and we can begin some of our closing remarks that we had anticipated. And if he slides in, wouldn't that be wonderful? And if not, then I think we certainly got through many of the things that we wanted to share with you. So go ahead, Tiffany.
Thanks, Rebecca. Afsa, if he becomes available, just please break in, and we'll let him in so that we're not wasting his time. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. I'm the chair of the MCRC Board of Directors, and I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize the MCRC staff and their creative approach to meeting the needs of our community, and the hard work and dedication that they are using to ensure that all families and children thrive. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to extend our thanks and appreciation to each and every one of you for making this organization strong and essential in the lives of the Milton community. I've been a part of this board for 14 years, and I can say that during my tenure, the partnership and collaboration between MCRC and the United Way of Halton and Hamilton has grown and flourished. I'm thrilled to have been part of this recognition event and to celebrate and acknowledge the tremendous help and support that has been provided by the United Way to our organization. You have lifted us up and created opportunities for us to extend and strengthen our reach. And it is with your help that we embrace our vision of a safe, caring community where children and families are valued, grow, and succeed. And as we close out this event, unless Adam pops in, I would like to, like to thank Rebecca and Tina. Kira, Tina, your session was amazing as well. But Kira, I am just so passionate about the empowerment programs that we have available for the girls. I really appreciate your presentation. Mike, thank you for coming in at the last minute and helping us give thanks and welcome. And thank you to Brenda and to Mike as well for your remarks and your presentations. They were central in providing the appropriate recognition and the celebration that we had hoped for this event. Thank you to everybody who's been able to come, all the staff and the board members and all the other community members. We truly appreciate your involvement in helping us acknowledge this strong, amazing community partnership that we have with the United Way of Hamilton and Halton. Thank you to everyone, and unless Adam's around.
Apparently he's coming on.
So we have to keep on chatting, do we?
Go ahead.
I do know how to juggle, so maybe I can go get a few more.
You want to pass it over virtually to me?
I think we're doing a pretty good job, and I'll hope that I see his face coming pretty soon.
Do you? That's great. Brenda and Mike, I really want to thank you so much for coming on, and it's really great to be able to put a face to the actual name. You know, having been involved with MCRC for so many years, I actually started out, my daughter was 6 months old when we started with programs, and now she's 23. She remembers it. She remembers it fondly. It's been amazing as being part of this organization when we were so small that we had like a handful of staff that were working, and now we're up over 200 staff and millions of dollars in our budget. And it's just so heartwarming and heartening to see how we're able to support our community members during this time especially, but always. And I'm just so proud to be part of this organization. There it is. And Adam,
fireworks.
I'm not on mute. I'm off of mute. Thank you, Hafsa. Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry that, that today got a little bit mixed up. We are learning how to be in two places at once. It's 2020, and with this Zoom thing, I guess we're all learning on our feet here. But what a great opportunity to say thank you again to organizations who are doing so much here locally and across the country, specifically here locally with MCRC and with United Way across the country. I'm sorry that I missed like the vast majority of the conversation here. I missed the entire conversation, so I'll rely on Hafsa for a more thorough update. But this is just my opportunity to thank you so graciously for all the incredible work that you're doing here in Milton, throughout Halton and across the country. It was about, I guess, 6 weeks ago. It was pretty warm, so it must have been like September or August, where Minister Ahmed Hussein was coming through Milton and asked, what organization locally can we visit and learn a little bit more about how the impact is serving your community. And right away we jumped to MCRC for the opportunity to come in, have a visit. It was one of the only times in the last 7 months that I've been able to sort of tour and be present. The screen stuff is like for everybody just getting so tiresome, but it was wonderful to come in and meet Tiffany and meet some of the other people that were there, Rebecca and the whole team. Your work is so hands-on and face-to-face. Your work is so personal, and the people that you support come in and receive those services and those items, whether it's through an educational platform that you provided, or for teachers that are needing supplies, or through the infant food bank. Your services are just absolutely integral to our community. And this is without exaggeration, with no hyperbole at all, the biggest challenge that Canada's ever faced in generations, from an economics perspective to a health perspective, socially. There's more isolation, there's more poverty. All of the challenges that people face have been exaggerated, and there is no subset of Canadian society, or really any other society around the world, that has been affected more than women. Women, of all types, regardless of what your job is, regardless of whether or not you have kids, if you're elderly, if you're an immigrant, if you're not, if you're a professional, this pandemic has affected women more. Women are typically caregivers. Women are, taking care of, whether it's an elderly husband or children that aren't theirs, or grandchildren. The burden has been enormous, and organizations like United Way and the MCRC have just been there, as you always are. But the demands that are on your staff and your volunteers and the services that you provide have been bigger than ever, but your response has been bigger than ever as well. And that's why it was so important that we get together today, say thank you, acknowledge all the support that you provided, and ask you to apply again, because we want to make sure that you guys continue to get the support that you need. This pandemic's not going away in the next week or month, and it's just going to get tougher and tougher for people. So that's going to you know, that's going to come back to organizations like yours and people like you. You know, I'm looking at Brenda. Brenda, you were here just a couple of weeks ago. It was nice to see people across the street. So I ran across the street over to Town Hall to ask what you're doing, because you had a great big banner and a goal of $10 million for the region that is between Halton and Hamilton is an extraordinary goal. But we've got to do what we can to ensure that you meet that goal, because that objective, that ambition is direct support for families who need it most, and assistance to people in vulnerable positions who are probably always been in a vulnerable position, but whose life has been adversely impacted to a degree that, you know, many people out there just don't realize is even possible. So just from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. I'm pretty new to politics, and I see my friend Mike Cluett is here too, who's not new to politics. But something that I've recognized is every time the government makes an announcement, the reason that I couldn't join earlier is because we're doing anti-racism action program funding across the country, and there's 85 organizations on a Zoom like this that we're announcing funding for. And this is a huge $15 million program that's combating racism across the country. And the three questions that I got most persistently were, what are you doing for women and children? Because they're affected to a greater degree by COVID-19 and by racism across the country. You know, because it's highlighted, it's exaggerated by sexism, and it's exaggerated by all sorts of other types of discrimination. And, you know, they were talking about the intersectionality of domestic violence and men's violence against women, and racism and so many other things. So recognizing that that Mike and I have to continue to be allies, and the other Mike too, sorry, both Mikes and I have to continue to be great allies for the work that you're doing. And sorry, Clarence, I'm just looking for men's names here. We're going to continue to be great allies for you guys and all the amazing work that you do. So what I was saying was the more I realized that when the government makes an announcement, like we want to support women's shelters, it comes down to the women's shelters. The burden is on them to apply for the funding and to administer the funding and to help. When we say we want to combat racism across the country, well, then it comes down to these 85 national funding partners and these stakeholders across the country. The government makes all these announcements, and then we heap the burden onto people like you to actually get that work done. So I just want to say thank you and acknowledge that our ambition and our goal of creating safer communities and supporting vulnerable people is a shared ambition, but you're doing all the work. So thank you.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you for sliding in at the last minute. We appreciate that, and certainly to have you on is an incredible honor, and I can only imagine what it's like to try to manage everything that you're doing. Appreciate your comments, and the interesting thing about the pandemic and the comments that you're making about how this has been particularly difficult for women, girls, and the interesting thing is, before pandemic, that's exactly why we set up our empowerment programs, because we knew that as a strong organization in our community, we needed to step up. We needed to work on that systemic issue of gender discrimination and how disadvantaged women and girls particularly can be. So appreciate your words. And I think that the fact that there's more funding going out for organizations that are specifically looking at this is really heartwarming for us. And again, thank you for your comments. Thank you for your support. Your support of our organization, just getting something onto your social media is a huge bonus for us, and was quite exciting during some of the other virtual events we've had. So thank
Rebecca,
you.
if you want more on my social media, just tell Hafsa and I will go up every week if that's what you want. Like,
it helps.
That's the smallest thing we can do. My platform is yours.
Thank you.
You know, absolutely, 100%. And I know I might sound a little bit like a broken record here, but acknowledging the work that all of you guys are doing in this space is really important to me. But also just acknowledging how much and how directly I think women have been impacted, and not just with respect to being vulnerable in the community, but when you look at the jobs lost
right.
Over the past 7 months, women's unemployment is at a much higher rate than any other form of than men's employment. And that's because all of the service organizations like the YMCAs and the Boys and Girls Clubs, all of the childcare positions, all of those jobs, you know, those have always been seen, these supportive jobs have been seen as nice to haves, and they're not, they're need to haves, they're must haves, they're absolute necessities. And I think, you know, what this pandemic has highlighted is how vitally important that work is. What we need to do is make sure that, you know, people who are, you know, working in those service positions, whether it's at a grocery store, a long-term care facility, or an organization like yours, or the YMCA, or Boys and Girls Clubs, those are not minimum wage jobs. Those are the most vital jobs in society. Those are the jobs that are, you know, supporting families, but they're also keeping, you know, the wheels on society. So it certainly got my attention. You know, I've tried to always look through everything that I do prior to politics and throughout with a feminist lens. I was raised by a single mom in community housing, so it comes naturally, but this has been a reminder. This has been a reminder for me, and it's certainly highlighted how much work is still necessary.
Thank you, Adam. And you know, we're always here to help you push that message through, and appreciate what the federal government, what you're doing, provincial government, regional government, and certainly organizations like United Way are helping us to do that. So thank you. And thank you to everyone for attending this event that we had, to acknowledge what a great partnership, helpful, strong, successful partnership that we have with the United Way of Halton and Hamilton. Thank you.